Hello everyone, welcome back to the 2018 Granny Square Crochet Along. Today we are making our YouTube bonus square for October. Now I know I'm a little bit late with this, it's getting towards middle to end of November, but there's been some various things holding me up for this square, so I do apologise. But all good things come to those who wait. So we're making this gorgeous square today, and the centre part, once it's made, looks a bit like a snowflake or a very, very pretty flower. So if you're having snow right now, well, hey, here's a snowflake, but I'm going to count it as a flower today. So we're going to make this gorgeous, gorgeous square in whatever colours you like. I'm just going to use some of my odd scrappy bits of yarn here today and make this beautiful square. So let's get started. Grab hook, yarn, scissors, cup of tea or coffee, and let's get started. Okay, so I've started with a chain 5 and a slip stitch to make a ring, just so that it makes a slightly bigger ring and gives us a more open centre. So then you want to do a chain 1 and 8 single crochets into your ring. So I will come back to you when I have 8 single crochets. And here we go, at the end of round 1. We have a cute little single crochet round there. So, and I've just slip stitched into the first single crochet. So to start round 2, chain 2, and then we're going to do a 2 double crochet cluster. So yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and leave the last loop of your double crochet on your hook. And then we have the loop that's for the hook anyway. So then yarn over, insert into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, leave that last loop on the hook. You've now got 3 loops, and yarn over, pull through all 3. And that's why we only did a chain 2 here, because then it doesn't become too high. Okay, then chain 3, and then into the next stitch we're going to do a 3 double crochet cluster now that we've done our initial. So yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, leave the last loop on the hook plus the one for the hook, yarn over, insert into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, leave that last one on the hook, yarn over, insert into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. You now have 4 loops on the hook, 1 for each of the 3 stitches and the one for the hook. Yarn over, pull through all 4. And chain 3, and then you're going to repeat this in every stitch around, so you will have 8 clusters and 8 chain 3 spaces. Okay, so if you saw me looking at this centre, it's because somehow my chains got a bit bunched up, but I'll just when I sew the tail in, I will just sew that up behind and it will all be nice and neat. I don't know what I did there. Okay, so I fastened off my colour and joined a new colour in the top of a cluster. If you are continuing with the same colour, then just continue from where you are. So I'm going to chain 1 and then do a single crochet in that same cluster. And then in your chain space, you're going to do a half double crochet, 4 double crochet, and a half double crochet, and then a single crochet into the next cluster. And this is what you're going to repeat all the way around, so I'll do that with you once more. So single crochet into the cluster you've already done, and then you're going to do in this chain space a half double crochet, 4 double crochet, and a half double crochet. Okay, and then single crochet into the next cluster. So do this all the way around. When you've finished all your shells in each chain space, you are going to slip stitch to your first single crochet. And and when you've done 8 clusters and 8 chain 3 spaces, do your last, well, when you've done your last chain 3, slip stitch into the top of your cluster, not the chain 2 but into the top of your cluster. And there we go. I'm going to fasten off this colour and I'm going to join a new colour. Okay, there we go at the end of that round. So now what we're going to do is chain 1 and single crochet in that same stitch, and then we're going to slip stitch across the next 3 stitches. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and then what we're going to do is a chain 5 picot, so chain 5 and then slip stitch back into your first chain. Okay, and then you're going to do a second chain 5 picot, so chain 5 and slip stitch back into your first chain. Oops. Can be a little bit fiddly, but just kind of persevere with that. Okay, and then once more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip stitch into that first chain. Sorry, I'm nearly going off screen there. Okay, so you now have 3 picots there. It's hard to see here, but you've got 3 picots, and then you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch along. And slip stitch into the last 2 stitches. And there you have your picots at the top of your shell. So then we're going to do a single crochet in the single crochet, slip stitch across the next 3 stitches. 1, 2 and 3, and then do your 3 picots once more, so chain 5, slip stitch into your first chain to make your first picot, chain 5, slip stitch into your first chain, chain 5 again, slip stitch into your first chain, oops, and then slip stitch into your next stitch along of your shell below. Slip stitch as tight as you can, and then slip stitch into the next 2 stitches, and single crochet into the single crochet. So there we go, lay this down. So you have a 3 chain 5 picots above each shell. Let's move this tail out of the way so you can see that a bit better. There we go. And we will be working into these in the next round, so it will all sort of fan out a bit better. Okay, so you're going to continue this around each shell, and when you get back to the beginning, just do a slip stitch into your first single crochet. And there we go, at the end of that round, every shell has a 3 picots above it. Looking lovely, and this is where it looks a little bit snowflakey like, especially if you have done it all in one colour. Gorgeous. So for our next round, we are, if I bring this one in, we're going to do these chains above our picots and shells. So you might want to change colour or stay the same. So I've joined my yarn with a slip stitch into my single crochet, and if you're keeping the same colour, you don't need to do a thing. So what we're going to do to start is we're going to chain 5 and then find your middle picot and just try and open that out a little bit and do a single crochet into the center of that picot. Okay, and then chain 5. And then you're going to do a slip stitch into your single crochet down here. Sorry, slip stitch. I'm doing a single crochet. So where are we? Here we go. Do a slip stitch. Okay, and then chain 5 and do a slip stitch in the next single crochet. Do that all the way around and then just slip stitch back into where you joined, or where you started rather. And I told you wrong there, didn't I? Because we need to go into this picot. So go into the middle picot and do a single crochet and then chain 5 and slip stitch down into your single crochet. Okay, so repeat that around and then I'll see you at the end of this round. And here we go, looking good. I've realised I'm not going to have enough yarn left on my blue, so I'm going to go back to my yellow. So I'm going to have a lot of yarn ends to sew in, but it will be worth it. So if you're continuing with the same colour, then you can just stay where you are with your yarn. If you are changing colour, then just join into one of those slip stitches. Okay, just join into one of these slip stitches. Okay, so for this round we are going to chain 1 and then we're going to go straight into our chain space and do 6 single crochets. Scooch those down a bit. Okay, when you've done 6 single crochets, we are going to do a set of 3 picots just as we did down here. Chain 5 picots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a slip stitch into your first chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip stitch into the first chain. Oops. Oh, let me try that again. Okay, so I've got 1 chain there. 2, 3, 4, 5 and slip stitch. There we go, I can do this. Chain 5 and a slip stitch into that first chain. And then you're going to come straight down into the next chain space and do a single crochet. Make sure you're not doing a single crochet around that picot. Okay, and actually, sorry, told you wrong there. For this one, we're going to just slip stitch back into our first picot. So just where you did that slip stitch on the first one, just join back into there with a slip stitch. Okay, and then do 6 single crochets into this chain space. Five and 6. Okay, so there we go. And then we're going to do that same stitch pattern in the next chain space. So you're going to do 6, so straight over to here, 6 single crochets and then do your 3 chain 5 picots. Remember on this one to close it in by going into the slip stitch of the first one at the end, just to close that in. and then 6 single crochets down the second side, all the way around, and then slip stitch back into where you did your chain at the beginning. And here we go. Now this is probably why you can probably see now why I said that this looks a bit like a snowflake. You can imagine all in this pale colour. It's a bit snowflakey like. So there we go. We're going to start and square this beauty off now. So I'm going to change colour for the final time, and I'm going to join into in between where these single crochets join from each chain space. So I'm going to join just in this space here. If you are not changing colour, then you will already be in that correct space. Okay? Okay, so to start with, we want to chain 5. And then you might want to pop a stitch marker or a paper clip or something into that 5th chain, just to save you counting through a lot of chains when we come back around. I'm just going to close that over. Okay, and then you're going to chain another 4. Okay, and then if you look at your picot, you're going to do a single crochet in your middle picot, just as we did down here. We're going to do that in the top one here, but I've chosen this place to join because I wanted to show you here. Somehow I have done 4 picots. Can you see there are 4 picots there? Now I could leave that as a happy accident, or what I'm going to do is pop 2 picots together, and I'm going to work those together so that they are thicker but not very noticeable. So what I'm going to do, get the first one, go through, and then going to find the second one behind and go through the center, and then do my single crochet through those 2. So now, although it's a bit thicker, it pretty much looks like just 3 picots. Okay, rather than having to undo all of your work, it just saves you having to do that. So then you are going to chain 4. Okay, now next we're going to do a new stitch that we've never done before, and it's a Y stitch. Now you might want to watch how I do this first. I will show you it again. And what we do basically is we do a 5 yarn over stitch. So that would be, I think that's a quad treble. So we're going to do 5 yarn overs, and we're going to do that stitch, and then we end up doing a double crochet into that. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So yarn over 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then you're going to work in this space between your 2 sets of single crochets here. So you're going to work into this space here, and you're going to do this stitch, whether it's a quad treb or a quin treble, I'm not sure, but you're just going to work it and yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's your extra long stitch. Now what you need to see is, if I just bring this up near to the camera so you can see, camera just focused there. Now if you see each of these lines that go diagonally, each of these is a yarn over. So we did 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then you've got your final one at the top, which is the one from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yarn overs there, and then the one for the hook. So to do our double crochet and to leave the equivalent of a double crochet at the top, which is what we want to do, we are going to work into the second space, because for a double crochet we have the top and one yarn over. So this line here would be the bottom of your double crochet. Okay, so that's where we're going to work in just a moment, but before that we're going to chain 5. So chain 5. Okay, and then we're going to work into that second space down like I just showed you. So look at your work and you've got the top of your stitch, and then you've got your first yarn over, and then you're going to work into this space just below. Okay, so yarn over, pop your finger onto that space, and then into the side of this do your double crochet. Oops. Okay, and then these two stitches now are pretty much the same height. You can see here now we have this kind of Y, this Y stitch with our chain across the top. How cool is that stitch? Very clever. Okay, so we're going to move on to the rest of the side. We are going to chain 4. Oops. And then we're going to go into the center picot of the next petal, if you like. So into there with a single crochet, chain 4. And then between these two petals we're going to do a triple treble. So yarn over 3 times, 3 times. Go into that space there between the two and do a triple treble. Okay, and then chain 4. Need some more yarn. Okay, so we've chained 4, and then we're going to do a single crochet into the next picot, chain 4. And then we're going to do another Y stitch. So we're going to do that again in between these two petals. So yarn over 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go into that space there, yarn over, pull through, and then just yarn over, pull through 2, and 2, and 2, and 2, and 2, and 2. Okay? There we go. No matter how many yarn overs there are, you always are just going to keep yarning over and pulling through 2 at a time. Okay, then chain 5. And then we're going to do our double crochet again into this second space. So find that yarn over and then go into that space just below and do your double crochet. And there you have your second Y stitch. Pretty cool. Okay, chain 4. Single crochet into the picot. We are just repeating what we've done before. So I might be going a slightly faster. Chain 4. But don't forget there is a function up the top or at the bottom where you can slow the video down if you need to, if I happen to go too fast. But I don't think I ever particularly go ever so fast, so hopefully we'll be okay. But just remember that function is there if you ever need it. Okay, so we've chained 4, and then we are going to do another triple treble. So yarn over 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go into this space between our 2 petals and complete that triple treble and chain 4. Single crochet into the next middle picot, chain 4. And then we're going to do that Y stitch again, so yarn over 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go into the space between your 2 petals and complete that stitch just as before. Chain 5 and do your double crochet in that second section of your stitch. Oops. What have I done there? Let's try that once more. Okay, so second section of the stitch. Okay. Okay, chain 4. Single crochet in your next picot, chain 4, triple treble in the space between your next 2 petals. Not sure what that piece of yarn is doing there. That can go to the back in a moment. Okay, so triple treble. And then chain 4, single crochet in the next picot, chain 4, and then you're going to do your final Y stitch. So yarn over 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into this space between your petals just as before. 5 and 6, and then chain 5 and do your double crochet in the second section of your stitch, which is here. My stitch has gone a bit loose, so it's not quite as easy to tell, but you can pretty much tell from the length. You know roughly the height of a double crochet, so you can see roughly where to go into. Okay, then chain 4, single crochet into the last picot, chain 4, and slip stitch into your 5th chain up. It will also be your 5th chain from the picot, or the one that you marked with a glamorous paper clip, and do a slip stitch in that chain. Oops. There we go. Oops, what have I done there? Twisted it. There we go. So this has now squared it off. Might all look a bit of a bundle right now, but just have a look, pull it out, pop your fingers into these corner spaces and just give it a stretch out. Okay, there we go. And it will all become much more square with the next round. Okay, so for the next round you are going to slip stitch across into your chain space, and then you're going to chain 3 as a double crochet, sorry, chain 5 as a double crochet and a chain 2, and then do another double crochet in that chain space and chain 2, double crochet into the next chain space, chain 2, double crochet into the top of this Y stitch, chain 2, and for our corner in this chain space we're going to do 3 treble crochet clusters. So yarn over twice, go into the space, and yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Leave your last loop on the hook. Do that once more, so yarn over twice, go through, do your first, yarn over, pull through 2, do that twice, so you've got now 3 loops. Do that once more, leave your last loop on the hook, so you've got 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, and chain 2. And then you're going to do 2 more of these clusters, so yarn over twice, go into your stitch and just leave the last loop of each stitch on the hook. Do that a second time and a third time, and pull through all 4 loops. Chain 2, and once more do another one of those 3 clusters. Pull through twice, oops. Leave the last loop on the hook each time and pull through all 4, and chain 2. And then you're going to do a double crochet into the next part of your Y stitch, your double crochet, and then chain 2, double crochet into that chain space, chain 2, double crochet into the next chain space, chain 2, double crochet into the same chain space, chain 2, double crochet in the next chain space. So we're now in the chain space, the other side of our triple treble, and I need some more yarn. Let's grab that. Okay, so we're going to chain 2 and do another double crochet in that same chain space. Chain 2 and do a double crochet in the next chain space. Chain 2, and then you're going to do a double crochet in the top of your Y stitch, and then you are back to your corner, and you're going to do those three lots of a 3 triple crochet clusters. So this is a 3 triple crochet cluster because you've got 3 partial triple crochets working that cluster, and you've got chain 2s in between. So do one of these in this corner, and then I will meet you to finish the next side. And just chain 2 before you do your first cluster, and then do a cluster, chain 2, cluster, chain 2, cluster. Okay, once you've done that corner of clusters, you are going to chain 2 and do a double crochet in the top of that double crochet of that Y stitch. Okay, chain 2, double crochet into the chain space, chain 2, double crochet into the next chain space, chain 2, double crochet into the same chain space, chain 2, double crochet in the next chain space, and chain 2, double crochet in the same chain space, chain 2, double crochet in the next space, chain 2, double crochet in the top of that Y stitch, and once again do your 3 clusters in your corner. And sorry, chain 2 first, do your 3 clusters, and I will join you in a moment. Okay, once you've done those 3 clusters, chain 2 and do a double crochet in that next double crochet. Chain 2, single crochet, double crochet in the next chain space, chain 2, double crochet in the next space, chain 2, double crochet in the same space, chain 2, double crochet in the next space, chain 2, double crochet in that same space, chain 2, double crochet in the next space, chain 2, double crochet in that top of that Y stitch, chain 2, and guess what, we're back at our corner. So another 3 clusters, your last 3 clusters. Okay, so after those last 3 clusters, you probably know exactly what to do. Chain 2, double crochet into that next double crochet, chain 2, double crochet into the next space, chain 2, double crochet into the next space, chain 2, double crochet into the same space, chain 2, double crochet into, not double crochet into, I've just noticed we are back to the beginning. So find your 3rd chain up, and it will also be 3rd chain across, and into that chain do a slip stitch. We made it to the end of that long round. We're used to making 6-inch squares, and they work up a lot quicker, so it does take longer for the round when you get a bigger square. So there we go. How beautiful is that, even though I've got lots of ends getting in the way there. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So we've got about 1 more round to go on this little beauty. Okay, now bear in mind this does need a lot of stretching out, it will need blocking most likely. So bear in mind it does need that stretch, but you might want to measure it and see if it's how it compares to your other larger bonus squares. Mine is going to be slightly bigger than 9 inches, which is our general size for our bonus. But I'm going to make it the same size as this square I did here. This one is a bit more than 9 inches as well. So I'm going to do the double crochet border just as I did before, just so that these 2 squares will match and I can use them together. Excuse me. So if your square is nearly up to size, then you might wish to do a single crochet round on this round, or use a different size that fits whatever you need to do. So single crochet, half double crochet, whatever suits you. So I'm going to do double crochet just so it matches with my other square that I've done like this. So this square now is so simple. We're going to do I've chained 3 for my double crochet, chain 2 for a half double crochet, and for a single crochet do chain 1 and then a single crochet in your stitch. And then all you're going to do is 1 stitch into every stitch and 2 stitches into every chain 2 space. Okay, whatever size you're doing, it doesn't make any difference. Single crochets, half double crochets, treble crochets if you even were wanting to do a bigger stitch. Just 1 into each stitch and 2 into each chain 2 space until you get to your corner, which is why I'm still going, until you get to your corner, and you're going to do 1 into your top of your cluster and 2 into the space. So again, it is just as we were doing before. So you're doing 1 into that first cluster and then 2 into the chain space, and then before your middle cluster, chain 2, and then do your stitch into that middle cluster, and then chain 2 just to take you around the corner, and then do 2 into the next chain space. There we go. Dear me, what am I doing? looking at the camera and not what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Oh dear. And I started this and didn't realise quite how late it was going to become when I was finishing. So it's nearly bedtime. So anyone else get carried away with their crochet and then realise, oh, it's probably bedtime? Suddenly another hour has passed. Okay, so just continue 1 in every stitch, 2 in every space, and in your clusters you're going to do 1 in the first, and then 2 in the space, and then chain 2 and 1 in the middle. Okay, and then chain 2. So continue this all the way around, and then slip stitch in the top of your chain or into your single crochet, whatever you have done. And here is my finished square. I love it. How gorgeous is that? And I'm really liking this colour combination. I'm liking where I'm seeing these little pieces of blue come through. Love it. So it might oh, excuse me, I did tell you it was nearly my bedtime. Excuse me there, yawning. It might need some blocking, or quite possibly will. These more open squares do tend to need a bit more blocking just to give them their right shape. But it is just gorgeous. And now that we've done all the border, it lays out nice and flat. So yeah, I love it. So here's the my original colours. So there we go, my purple and pink. So there is our square for today. For our October bonus, again, I apologise for the lateness of it, and it will soon be time for November's bonus. But I hope you've enjoyed crocheting along with me today. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, then leave them below, or in the Facebook group. There's a link to that below as well. Come and ask any questions, or if you're having any problems with it or anything, then just come and ask away in group, or in that comments right down at the bottom of the page, if you need to. And if you have enjoyed this, then please click that like button, give us a thumbs up, show some love and appreciation. I really would appreciate it. It does mean a lot to just have that feedback. So until next time, I'm going to bid you farewell and a good night. And until next time, just keep hooking and don't let your tea get cold.